All right. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hot mic. Islam. Rising in the name of Allah, the great God of the universe. Giving honor to all his true and divine prophets. Giving honor to the prophet of these days and times, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Welcome to Temple Talk. I am your host, Divine Minister, Grand Sheikh Romeo Jonah L. from Subordinate Temple 7, located in Rosedale, Maryland. I want to start, as I always do before each episode of Temple Talk, as to say that the views and opinions of the listeners or the audience, or sometimes the guests, is not consistent with the teachings of Grand Sheikh Romeo, Divine Minister of the Lord Science Temple of America, Temple number 7. However, the views and opinions and the comments is consistent with the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple, the 5 highest known principles to man: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I want to begin, as I always again, I want to thank my supporters who are located on the East and the West Coast, some in Canada, some in the West Indies, and some on the continent of Africa. Yes, you heard it, on the continent of Africa. There are more science temples all over the universe. Wherever there is a Moor, and he or she is teaching, the great meeting is on. I visit South Africa and Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Bloemfontein, Stellenbosch, Nisselhof. I visit all of those places. And wherever I went, like most Moors will, I taught every time the opportunity presented itself and told them about our illustrious prophet and introduced them to the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, I want to go back and thank the supporters. I want to thank my brothers and sisters located up in the northern states of New York, some in Michigan, out west in Chicago. I want to give honor to the Moors who are in Phoenix, Arizona, who are in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to give honor to the Moors who are in Mississippi, Arkansas. I want to give honor to the Moors who are located in the South: Durham, Raleigh, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina, St. Stephen, South Carolina. I want to give honor to the sisters and brothers who hold temples in Moss Corner in South Carolina, Goose Creek, also Manning and Florence and Spartanburg. Now, I want to give honor to the Moors in Virginia, Newport News, Hampton, Norfolk, Virginia, Virginia Beach. I want to specifically come back to Virginia and give honor to the brothers and the sisters in Woodbridge, Virginia. That is the Pleasant Bay tribe. Now, the Grand Sheikh Pleasant Bay has a new name. I don't want to butcher his name, but I've known him always as being Elihu Nathaniel Pleasant Bay. Now, if somebody can drop his new name in the comments, I will make sure that I correct that during my next Temple Talk meeting, because that particular brother has been a blessing to me. As always, I give honor to whom honor is due. I give honor to all of his children. I give honor to his wives. And I give honor to all the members of his fashion and his teachings, because I recognize a master when I see him. Now, I want to hold that thought and I want to put a pin in it. Some years ago, the brother known as Elihu Nathaniel Pleasant Bay put out a book called The Exhument of the Nation. Exhument of the Nation. I have a copy of that book, and I want to make sure that if you're familiar with that, you can get it in Amazon. And if you're here in Baltimore, you can get it at Everyone's Place. NIT has a whole section dedicated to the Moorish Americans. Please visit that store on North Avenue, Everyone's Place. You will not regret it. Now, in the Exhument of the Nation, there's a lot of interesting chapters and articles. Read it for yourself. Now, I want to go back and do something else. I want to say Ramadan Mubarak to all the Moorish brothers and sisters and their children who are actually practicing Ramadan. I want to give honor to those brothers and sisters. Every victory over self is added strength. And if you're practicing Ramadan, regardless of where you are in your phases and development, is a very spiritual event, and it's something good to go through. And there's a special connection with you and your brothers all over the universe. So again, I want to say Ramadan Mubarak. I had a question dropped on me in the comment section of last week, where a brother asked me to demonstrate briefly on this flag that he saw. The flag had a circle of 13 stars, and it had the number 76. And he wanted to know why was that flag the way that it was. He's used to seeing it a different way. Well, what I explained to him, that flag has been in existence for a very long time. Before we had the flag that we observed today with the 50 stars, out of the 50 was a result of the 13 colonies. And if you look at that flag that you asked me about, that flag has 13 stars on it. And that represents the 13 colonies. And the 76, if you're into numerology, you'll learn that the 7 and the 6 is the 13. And out of that 13 comes the 50 states. And we talked briefly about that during the last episode of Temple Talk, that one of the 50 states, or the 13 colonies, correction, was the state of Maryland and Massachusetts and Virginia. You read it for yourself. Learn the history of this said country and what your involvement in it is based on you, from your genealogy, your nationality, and your lineage. We also mentioned the Williamsburg, Virginia, the good old colonial country. Learn how that has a relationship to the Moors. There was a young lady that I mentioned on the last podcast that most of us read about in history, known as Pocahontas, who was a prince. And her real and correct name at birth was Mata Oka, spelled M-O-T-A-K-A. Some people say Matoka, but the correct pronunciation is Mata Oka. So, due to history on her, she was the young lady that John Smith was pursuing through the forest to catch while she was out starving. She was out looking for birds and butterflies, and she rescued him because he was actually starving. She brought him into the village as if he was a special pet on a rope, and they spared his life. They were going to take his life at first. They were going to unalive him. She saw that didn't happen, and later on, Pocahontas was baptized by the Catholic Church, and she became Rebecca. So, do the history for yourself. And the way that she connects to the Moors is they go back to specific genealogy and lineage. And I want to give you some more homework to do that and fine arts connected to the Moors. Most of the people in the Moorish Science Temple know this degree, but we're relying on you to learn more information about yourself by doing the research and visiting the temple so that they can confirm and show you how the connection exists. Now, I want to give another reference for you to read. It's called The Great Conspiracy. Horace Greeley. We talked so much about him in past podcast show because all of that great conspiracy covers a lot of history about this country. And I want to thank Grand Sheikah Sheila Seabreeze Bay. And she was the one who introduced me to that record along with The Tragic Era. Uh, she also introduced me to The Tragic Era, The Great Conspiracy, and American Conflict. They were records that we were required to get and not only study and read, we actually would discuss different chapters of those during her law and history class, along with her late husband, Nebo Bay, who was one of my heroes back in the day. And also, again, I want to thank the Grand Sheikah Sheila Seabreeze Bay. And if the Moors don't know of her, I would suggest that you meet with her. Back in the day, we had Mother Nobles. That's what we used to call the Timothy Dingwell's wife, Mother Nobles. Well, now I know the sister wouldn't want me to put that title on her, but she's one of the vanguards in this movement, and she's the elder. And I would encourage anyone to sit down with any elder in the Moorish Science Temple of America who paved the way for the rest of us to have a conversation with them and let them know that we love and appreciate them. Give them their flowers. Give them their flowers. Look at them as our leaders. They are the people who have interest in us, that want to see us progress to being great people. Give honor to whom honor is due. Do not segregate yourself from them. Separate your petty grievances from them. Respect them for the titles that they earned and that they have, and learn from them. While we still have them in our midst, let's hold them as high esteem, respect them, and honor them. I want to also give honor to some of the elders, the gentlemen, the brothers and the men in this movement. People like Joe Bratton Bay. People like Grand Sheik Prather L. People like the Grand Governor Frank Maddox Bay. I want to give honor to the Moors because I'm giving honor to whom honor is due. I don't want to leave out formerly known as Hayes Sample Bay, who is now Prophet Noble Drew Ali IV. Just sit down with these Moors. Learn from them. They are here now midst. Let's take advantage from them. Like they used to say to me, when you meet an angel, ask him for a blessing or her for a blessing. Wrestle with them. They'll give you that blessing. Because in giving you a blessing, you'll become a part of the legacy to help progress in this movement and keep it on. The prophet said this movement was for the young and the yet born. The old can come if they want to. Let's take advantage of the older and the elder sisters and brothers in this movement by learning from them. Show them honor and respect. I give honor to whom honor is due. Anybody that knows me, I don't practice segregation. I don't say I won't sit down and talk to this one. I won't sit down and talk with that one. I'll say if Drew Ali is their prophet and Allah is their God and they are Moorish Americans, I'll sit down with them. I will not argue with them. I'm not going to debate with them. But anything that they can teach me that I don't know, I'm going to suck it up from them. I want them to give me some of those jewels. Give me a blessing. So I want to encourage the listeners who may be in the listening audience around the highways and the byways, they're Moorish Americans. Study that Asiatic covenant. Know what your connection is with them. Don't just study it and write it. Live by it. Chapter 25 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America is the Asiatic covenant. Learn it. Live by it. Practice it. Let it be a part of every part of you. So, for the Moors who don't understand any of this speech, I'll challenge you. Get with a Moorish American Muslim. male or female. The ones that are studying, the young and the old. They got some young masters and some young sisters out here. They might be young enough to be your children, but they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, everybody in the Moore Science Temple of America that's a leader, they may not be as old as you are. But if you learn from that sheikess or that sheik or that member, study with them. That's your blessing. That is your blessing. Segregation is not one of your principles. Learn to live in the honor of the people that look like you. Love to live with them and honor them. We need to learn to love it instead of hate. So I want to tell any of the listeners and the viewers, subscribe to this channel. Like this channel. And pass it on to your friends. The viewings are growing. The subscriptions are growing because the word is getting out. As I said before, somebody said, Grand Sheik, the more I listen to you, you sound more and more like a public service announcement. Well, guess what? If that's what you want to call me, I've been called worse. Like the young brother Tahakabet says, he not going to stop until the law calls his number. What divine minister, Grand Sheik Romeo Joyner L, I will not stop teaching until the law calls my number. I'm going to teach every time the opportunity presented itself. And if there's something I can do to help he or she, I will. And my word is my bond. And I'll stand on what I know. So I want to say to the listening audience, if you have any questions, you want to make any comments, put them in the comment box. If you want to visit, we visit the temple. We're at 6628 Kenwood Avenue, Rosedale, Maryland, 21237, and you can reach us at 443-414-9443. As I said before, I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in peace. Islam. Thank you for viewing Temple Talk.